Every one of those ladies made a choice.
Was there first? One before all of this? A wife you promised to have and to hold, forsaking all others. One you told that lie to?
Lucille, give me strength.
Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I'll be breaking down and analyzing Season 8, Episode 5 of The Walking Dead as I compare it to its comic book counterpart. With that being said, warning spoilers for everything in the show up to Episode 805, along with the Here's Negan volume and issue 112, 115, 116, 122, 123, and 164 of the comics. And let's jump right into this. So first off, the entire lead-up intro for 806 with Gregory is completely original, and I love how they explained his adventures going to meet with the Saviors. It also kinda makes sense how they didn't show it until this episode, leaving his speech in 801 to have the same sense of shock as in the comics. Simon is original to the show along with most of the lieutenants. In the comics, Negan still did have the same hierarchy of saviors, but most of his saviors remained nameless. In the show, they've had time to space out a lot of different people, such as Gavin or even Fat Joey from last season. But speaking of Simon, due to multiple scenes this episode, it's popular speculation that he was actually the previous leader to the Saviors, or at least a leader of a previous group that Negan took over. Negan mentioned backsliding to Simon, along with telling Gabriel that he took over the Sanctuary from previous leaders that sucked at being leaders. This all references Negan's backstory volume from the comics entitled Here's Negan, and I have a full video discussing Simon's potential backstory with Negan. Now, posing a few more differences, in the comics Negan was never trapped in by zombies during the events of the Sanctuary attack, but this actually comes up way later in the story, and I'll get to that in a bit. Now, in the comics, a character named Holly is taken prisoner, similar to Gabriel being taken captured at the end of the episode, although they remixed Holly's storyline into Sasha for the end of Season 7. I enjoy how they replaced Holly's story here with Gabriel's, as it filled in the blank spot while having something new and exciting. Moving on, the whole Lucille bring me strength line isn't the first time that Negan's done this, but showing it again just further implies how he does it often. We first saw this in Season 7 after he killed Spencer, I believe, which he did in the comics as well. Also, it gives a way deeper meaning this time considering that Gabriel is provoking him about having a past wife, which Negan did, and Lucille was actually her name. Gabriel was just doing this so he could sneak up and steal Negan's gun, but it still has heavy background implications as Negan still never specifically told Gabriel that his dead wife's name is actually Lucille. Now, this entire Gabriel and Negan situation is similar to the Rick and Negan situation during the Whisper War in issue 164. Alexandria ends up getting completely devoured by zombies, even worse than No Way Out, although very similar, leaving Rick and Negan trapped inside a house together. Here, Negan pretty much explains to Rick the same thing that he explained to Gabriel, although a bit different, just bits and parts of the Here's Negan backstory. Now, moving on to the end of the episode, I noticed someone on Reddit point out something interesting about Negan's return. He says that he'll die when he's ready, so is that possibly a reference about his comic book counterpart, considering the fact that he'll be around much longer than people think? Many casual TV show viewers truly do believe that Rick will kill Negan and soon, so they're just rolling their eyes waiting for it to happen. Oh boy, will they be surprised. And speaking of the ending, is Gabriel faking his sickness? Could this lead to him, Eugene, Dwight, and Dr. Carson escaping the Sanctuary, especially since Gabriel and Eugene both mention Carson at the end of the episode? I mention this because it actually occurs in the comics. Pretty much Eugene ends up getting captured, although he is never given any sort of privileges. He's sort of thrown in a cell similar to Daryl. Together, they all try to escape together, although I believe Carson sadly dies while they try to escape. Will a similar plan occur in the show? After all, they have been leading Eugene and Dwight up to something, so could this be it? Now that we're done discussing the Sanctuary side of the episode, let's quickly discuss the helicopter that Rick saw. Is it the New World Order or something else? Now, I actually have a full video discussing all the possibilities of this helicopter, along with the theory that it might be the Ohio group as well, so feel free to check that out, but I have a bit more to discuss here as well. Now, since that video, people have brought up a good point that having gas and refueling the helicopter would be an issue, so they'd have to have a pretty damn good reason to travel that far. Although that is true, they could still come up with an explanation. Now, I imagine Rick and the gang possibly meeting the Ohio group in seasons 10 to 11, and also maybe not mention until the 3rd or 4th episode that they actually have a helicopter. Rick could say something along the lines of, "Oh hey, I saw it flying in the air a few years ago, was that you or someone else?" To which the Ohio group could give their explanation. I hope that it's logical and not something stupid. I do really want this to connect, but I obviously want it to make sense. And with all that being said, I don't really know anything about refueling helicopters in particular, but isn't it possible to bring a fuel canister with you? And after quickly glancing at a map of the United States, they could have been possibly making contact with someone in Delaware or New Jersey or something, but is that even realistic? It's a long stretch, don't get me wrong, but if you can think of a more logical explanation, please be my guest. I'm just trying to make sense of it all because, as I said, I would personally love for this all to line up. And finally, in the comics, the whole chase for the 50 caliber Browning machine gun never happened, and the Junkyard group doesn't exist. So what do you guys think about it all? Did you enjoy the way that they integrated the Here's Negan backstory into the Negan and Gabriel situation? Do you think that it might take away from any potential Negan and Rick scenes in the future? Feel free to leave any opinions or theories down in the comments section below. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, or even subscribe for more Walking Dead content in the near future. And if you'd like to take that extra step in helping support my videos, please consider checking out my Patreon, where there's a bunch of different rewards involving the channel, such as a chance to directly influence the videos being produced. It isn't necessary by any means, but some of these videos really do take a while, so it could help in the long run. But as always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.